What is up, Bulldogs? It is me, John Sanmez from BulldogMindset.com, and today we are going to be talking about how to have confidence in groups like this one, like this group of me and you and the camera. How do you have confidence? So I got this question. He says, "Dear John, first I want to say hi and thank you for the content you're putting out. It's truly beneficial. I am not a big guy and a little quiet at times. I'm working on my social game by trying your exercises, eye contact and smirking and talking to strangers on the street. I am getting better at one-on-one conversations. However, when it comes to groups, I still feel like I don't have as much authority. Question: how do I gain authority and be confident in group settings?" There's a couple things I would say, first of all. So a lot of it is contextual, okay? And of course it's going to be practice. But one of the best ways to be confident in a group setting, right, that's contextual, and we can start here and we can see why this works, then we can apply this to other situations, is to have a lot to say, to be an authority on a subject, right? Some of the best times when I can really just talk to a group is when I am in a position of authority to some degree, right? So if I go to a conference, right, let's say I went to a software development conference, right, where I have a reputation, where people know who Simple Programmer, who John Sanmez is. If I go there and I speak at the conference or whatnot, and then, I'm outside in the hallway afterwards, a bunch of people will usually gather around and I'll be able to just have this conversation and say, oh yeah, this is what I think about that, and I'll be able to speak with authority and to command the group and really, really bring out my best confidence in front of a group, right? Because I have that authority already baked in, because it's contextual, and because I have a lot to say about the subject, right? Whatever you're going to ask me about as far as software development and career advice or something like that, or even personal development, I'm going to be able to talk about that. That's sort of the first thing to think about, is what are the situations in which you could talk to a group and you would feel totally confident. It's going to be things that you're confident about. It's going to be things that you are knowledgeable about, okay? And contextual situations where you would have authority. With that said, obviously you can get into those situations, but you can also make those situations happen, and you can imagine those situations and how you feel in those situations. Those things are going to help you to some degree, and maybe you can make up contextual situations in an environment where that would make sense, right? So let's say that you're out with a bunch of friends and you want to, have confidence. You want to be able to speak with authority and whatnot. Well, how can you change it? How can you make it so that you have that context, right? What kind of conversation could you create or steer people towards where you have the expertise, where you have knowledge in that domain? What kind of way can you imagine for yourself that you need to have this conversation, right? In order to make it so that you've got that background or that context, so you can create maybe your false sense of authority, or this kind of, you're giving yourself a role, right? Can you give yourself a role? When I'm teaching guys, especially when I was teaching dating advice stuff, and I would go out, a lot of times I would step up my level and my confidence level speaking to the group, or speaking to groups of girls, or whatever it is, when I'm doing this kind of coaching, because other people are depending on me and I'm in the mentor relationship. Whereas on my own, I might not actually be that confident, but because I'm in that mentoring relationship, so and people are looking up to me and they're looking for me to have the advice, I'm going to act that part. I'm going to suddenly be emboldened by that, right? And so I can create that myself. In fact, I do it on this YouTube channel, right? One of the reasons why I'm able to come across confident and speak with authority on this YouTube channel is because I know you guys are listening to me, okay? And I've created that sense. Even though I'm right here in front of the video camera, I know that I've got confidence in what I'm saying. I've got this context of I'm someone who needs to share this information, who is helping people, who's teaching them. And so that helps me to have that authority to be able to speak to you as I'm speaking to you right now, and not saying, oh, I think this or if that, and being unsure of myself, right? There's a few other things I could say about this, which is one of them being that another thing to know in your mind is that the more confident that you are and the more authority that you speak with, the more that you're going to be compelling, and more people are going to like you, and the more that they're going to be convinced of your ideas, whether they're right or wrong. The person who has the authority frame, who speaks with confidence and authority and conviction, is going to get more votes, okay? They're going to gain more approval from people. People are going to listen to them and be influenced by them more than the person who makes logical sense but does not carry that same level of charisma, right? We could call that charisma. Speaking with authority, speaking in such a way that you are fearless and don't care what people think is charisma. It's charismatic when you do that. So now let's talk about some ways that you can do this kind of exercises or ways that you can get good at a group type of conversation and setting. One of them is just to insert yourself into groups. So one of the exercises that I have done many times at conferences and at bars or nightclub or whatever it is, get-togethers, is that I will go up to a group sitting at a table or something like that, and I will say, "Hey, what's going on? I'm John. I'm just going around meeting cool people. What's up?" And then I'll shake everyone's hand and be like, so I have a question for you guys, right? What do you think about, or, that's interesting. I just noticed, right? Or, make up some kind of observation about the group. Make up something, say something, ask them a question. You can even have it prepared ahead of time, asking an opinion. But you basically open up a whole group and you just start talking to them, right? And you're going to lead the conversation. You're going to make it an exercise to steer the conversation, to talk to them, to point out things about the group, to state your opinion about a thing, to tell them a story, right? Whatever it is, to be able to get the spotlight on you as much as possible. Now, that's not always the best thing for conversations and for rapport and whatnot, but it's what you need to work on and what you need to practice, right? You can always back down from there. I want you to go to the extreme. Okay, and again, don't do it in a rude way. Do it in a great way. You're the entertainer, right? Think of it. I was at a meetup actually that I did for a Bulldog Mindset in Barcelona. Okay, maybe I'll put a picture up here. We'll see somewhere. And when I was there with the meetup, there was like maybe 15, 20 people there that had come to meet me in Barcelona. We're talking, we're having a couple of drinks, and this dude walks up and he just basically inserts himself into the group and he's like, "Hey, I want to show you guys some magic tricks," right? Okay, and he does it in a good way, right? He does it in a way where he basically steals the show. He becomes the center of attention. Okay, he's got everyone's attention focused on him. Everyone was having conversations, doing things, but he's an entertainer. We had a good time. It was awesome. I got to see some pretty cool magic tricks. It was worth it. But see, he came up knowing he was giving value. Okay, and that's the thing is when you go up to a group and you start talking to people, know that you're giving them value. You're an awesome guy. You're a cool guy. Like you're going to entertain them. At the very worst, you're going to entertain them because you're that fucking crazy guy that just came up and started talking to them and said all kinds of random shit and started telling them stories. They're like, remember that fucking guy from last night? Like, it's great. Like you're that guy. You're the entertainment. When you first do this, it's going to be hard and you're going to stutter and you're going to trip on your words and you're going to be sweating and you're going to feel uncomfortable and you're not going to be very entertaining and you're going to feel awkward, but it's fine. Let it be. Let the awkwardness be. Just be like, in fact, sometimes it's best to name it, right? I mean, how cool is it if you go up to this group of people and you're kind of nervous and you're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "Hey," and you're like, I'm John. What are you guys doing here?" And they're like, hey John, whatever, this is Marcy, and then you're like, "Man, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty fucking nervous. I'm just like going up to meet people, but hey, I'm here. What can I say, right?" You sort of feel a little bit more comfortable when you do that, and they'll feel a little more comfortable. And you're like, "Man, I gotta tell you, like I really I feel like I could piss my pants right now. Like I'm nervous. I'm just trying to get out of my shell. Like I'm doing some exercises and stuff." And then pretty soon they're gonna be like supporting you, right? You know what I mean? Because you're being honest, right? You're being authentic. You're being genuine. And not everyone. I mean, I'm not saying that you're always gonna get a positive result, but you're gonna get sometimes when you just name it, right? Instead of bullshitting, if you try to be this cool guy and you're not this cool guy because you don't have the confidence yet, it's fine. Just be whatever you're gonna be, but own it, okay? And practice, right? Everything is going to take practice. So, like I said, you go to a conference, right? I just go start walking up to tables. I'm like, hey, sometimes I introduce tables to other tables or introduce people. Sometimes I just pick on people at the table, right? I'm doing all kinds of things that are going to put me out of my comfort zone, that are going to allow me to talk to a bunch of people at one time and to talk to the groups, right? Getting on stage is one of them that will help you as well. But so you go there, you go to a nightclub, and you see people sitting around a table or at the bar, and you say, hey, what's up, right? And you address them all. Or you say, hey, come over here, come over here, come over here. And you grab a couple of people together, and you be like, hey, I want you to meet Janet here. Janet is, she's a nurse. So, she's a dog nurse or whatever. You just make up some shit, right? And then you've got people together, and now you've got an audience because you've brought them together, and now you can perform a little bit. And yes, will this be really fucking uncomfortable? Of course it will. But you want to grow here, okay, you're going to have to do this kind of stuff. And so, like I said, I just make it a habit. When I go out, I'm always introducing people, right? When I go to a party or something, I'm the guy. I'm like, I'm bringing these people over here. I'm talking to this group. Most of the time, people are really cool. They're really chill. Like, I met so many people. I've made so many friends just going up to a group and just started talking to them and just chat. I don't really have an agenda. I'm just me, and then I introduce them to someone else, or, I make these acquaintances. And again, like I said, is this uncomfortable? Do I even get scared sometimes doing this? Of course I do. But I do it anyway because you got to conquer your fear. I'm going to be a fucking bulldog. This is what bulldogs do. All right. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope this is useful. Like I said, leave some comments. Let me know. Let me know what you're looking for as far as this goes and social skills, developing them. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that on this channel in general. So if you haven't already, and I know that you should have, and most of you have, but if you want to become a fucking bulldog, join the Bulldog community. Click that subscribe button down below. Click the bell to be like freaking awesome, okay? That'll make you awesome bulldog because you'll never miss a video. But anyway, click the subscribe button. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.